G'day. How we perceive the events around us is a manifestation of our worldview. We project our thoughts subconsciously. For example, when we judge a book by its cover, to the point that two people can observe the exact same event but come to two very different conclusions. In this video today, we will be going over my upbringing and how that has shaped my worldview. I was born in Australia, but I spent ages 2 to 5 in China, raised by my grandparents on my dad's side. They were very traditional and held very Buddhist beliefs, but we'll come back to that in a bit. When I came back to Australia to start kindergarten, I didn't speak a word of English. And as you can imagine, I would be asking the only other Chinese kids in the class what the teacher was saying, what the other kids were saying, and that was annoying very, very fast. On the playground, I could not express myself. I could not ask to join the games, so I was naturally very left out. I tried forcing my way into their games, and when naturally they moved away, I would desperately follow them. I had started to think that there was perhaps something wrong with me. It didn't help that my grandma was a very devout Buddhist, and she instilled into me that if I offered value, whatever that meant, the other kids would see the value and they would appreciate it. I would start offering to do their homework. I would chase after their balls for them. I would do the things that they did not want to do, so that I could, in my way, offer them value. But what happened? Did that help? No. That made the kids avoid me even more. Why is this weird Asian kid following us around? You would be understandably skeptical too if a stranger had offered you value out of nowhere. Imagine walking down the street and there was this stranger handing you a $50 note just because. Would you take it? Would you be scared to take it? Would you think that there was something wrong with that $50 note? By now, I had internalized the belief that I was some second-class citizen, that I was somehow worthy of their disrespect, that it was okay for me to be left out, that I was okay to be a social punching bag, that it was all normal. In year 5, I moved to a different school, supposedly a fresh start, so to speak. However, because I carried my submissive mindset with me, very quickly, things started going back to their old ways. The kids pick up on that really fast, and by the end of the first month, it was as if I never changed schools. By then, I had made quite a few observations, but they didn't make sense to me at the time. For example, I would make a joke, and the kids would laugh at me for trying to make a joke. But then one of the popular kids would steal my joke, and when he said the joke, all of the kids would laugh with him. It didn't make sense to me. The ridicule continued every day, and the only way that I knew how to fight back was physically. But as you can imagine, that was very swiftly punished. I was no match for their verbal jousting skills. It didn't matter that the other kids were goading me, were pushing me, were harassing me. There was just no way to prove it. But if you even kick someone's bag, not the person, but the bag, that would attract detention immediately, and a phone call would be made to my parents, telling them all the bad things that I've done. In every year of schooling, I would have at least one so-called altercation where I would be punished for being violent. In year 7, when we moved to high school, it only took a week for the bullying to catch up, and every year it would get progressively worse. I'm sure you can see this through the camera, but even as I'm relaying the story, I am remembering the really messed up parts. And I'm sweating and I'm shivering and I'm shaking as a result. I dreamed about how blissful it would be if I could make my bullies disappear. I dreamed about the ways I could make them disappear. I dreamed about the ways I could make myself disappear, one way or another. But I was too pussy to make those dreams come true. I was too pussy to even try. to action on those dreams. So instead, I cried myself to sleep every night, knowing that tomorrow would be more of the same. But there was a faint light at the end of the tunnel. At the end of Year 12, before the start of university, at least down here in New South Wales, Australia, we have a 5-month break, roughly 5-month break, where I told myself I would go to the gym, I would lose all that weight, I would get huge muscles. But I did nothing with that time. I sat at home, played my games. That was about it. But the one saving grace of those 5 months was that it acted as a mental reset. It acted as a reset where for 5 months, I did not have the constant reinforcing experience of getting my self-esteem pounded into the sand. It was 5 months where even though I believed I was a designated social punching bag, I did not have that reinforcing experience. When university started, I found myself acting submissive again. Everywhere I would look, I would be expecting some snide, some verbal punching, some nasty comment about anything of me. But they never came. Now, whether that's because I don't know why. My hypothesis is everyone is trying to start a brand new journey. Everyone is turning over a new leaf, starting a new chapter. Everyone's trying to be more adult, more mature. For whatever reason, the bullying, the snide comments, the harassment, they never came. In university, for the first year, walking around every day, expecting to be bullied, expecting to be harassed, but not being bullied and not being harassed, felt very, very weird. I could feel my cognitive dissonance at play. Everywhere I'd go, everywhere I'd look, every social interaction I had, I would always be on guard. I would always be playing defensive. Oh my God. This is a harder video to make than I thought. Even to this day, when I see any of my prior bullies, my heart would sink. My stomach would lurch. My heart rate would increase. I would start sweating, as you probably can see that I am right now, just thinking about those thoughts. But this change of environment, combined with my increased consumption of self-help content, allowed me to analyze myself, analyze my way of thinking, grow my way of thinking. My previous mindset and worldview were filled with multiple self-limiting beliefs. They stopped me from trying new things, from talking to new people, from doing new activities, from doing anything where the outcome was uncertain. I had become convinced. No, I convinced myself that I would be happiest as an observer on the sideline. There are many actions that I chose not to take as a result, and I regret many of them. My ever-evolving mindset now, with the benefit of hindsight and experience, is a much more open one with much less fear and much less judgment. So what if they look at me? Who cares what they think of me? Everyone is too busy thinking about what the world thinks of them to care about what they think of you and what they think of me. Start small. The phrase fake it till you make it is especially relevant here. If you walk around acting unconfident, nobody would have a reason to believe that you're confident. But on the flip side, if you walk around acting fully confident, no one would have a reason to believe that you're not confident. At first, it might seem forced and unnatural, but with enough reinforcing experiences, it will start to become second nature. A technique I'd like to use is to ask myself, what would X do? Now, X can be anyone you like. X can be Batman, can be Superman, can be Tyler Durden, can be Giga Chad, can be whoever you like, someone you look up to. What would they do in that situation? And whatever it is that you think they would do, go do that. If their brain was implanted into your body, what actions would they take? There is no physical difference between the current you and the you with their brain inside you. The difference is all in the mind. Your homework after this video is to reflect and think about an action or inaction that you took. And think about the mindset that led to it. For example, let's say you had a smoke because your friends were smoking too. Did you smoke because you gave into peer pressure? Because you were afraid of looking uncool in front of your friends? Because you were afraid of losing those friends? Did you not approach a pretty girl that you saw because you thought, oh, what if she rejects me? What if she makes fun of me? Think about the mindset that you had when you took those actions or failed to take those actions. Report to us down below in the comments. That's it from me today. Enjoy your homework. Done.